Hi, my name is Scott from Bego Games, and today I am here with
Alexander McDermott, programmer at Hexterion Games.
To talk a bit about their new game, Rebound. So firstly, could you tell us a little bit about Rebound and what it's about?
It's a sci-fi four-player competitive dodgeball game where it's a top-down twin-stick sort of playing game, but then we add in mutators that slightly change how the game plays. So it could be something simple like the camera rotating, or something more complex like time rewinding.
So how many mutators have you got approximately at the moment?
I keep forgetting this, but I think the last count we had somewhere between 15 and 20, I think.
So one of the big elements of the game is that it's quite fast-paced in that you have the playlist feature. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and explain what that is?
Okay. So we've got, in the demo we're showing off now, we have 3 different playlists. We've got our standard, which is sort of a quick introduction to get you to grips with the game, and then we slowly build up from an easier to understand mutator to maybe a harder one. And then we've got an advanced one, which is just some more of the sort of sillier mutators. And then a quickfire one, which is about 10 or 11 mutators on 10 or 11 different maps with all 1 round. So it's all just, you get 1 round to try out a mutator and then you're immediately thrown on to the next one. In the full game, we've got a custom playlist setup. So if you have a favorite mutator, but maybe you don't like it on a particular map, you can just change the map and then set up a playlist and go from there.
So how long has the game been in development so far? Like, how long have you been working on this game?
Coming up to, I think, about 2 years this summer, I think, yeah.
And when's the expected release date?
Without giving a particular date, best I can say is probably in a couple of months for PC and console. If it's not out on a particular console at launch, we're trying to release them on as many consoles as we can get access to.
So what was the inspiration for the game? Where did the idea come from?
It was a global game jam up in university, Glasgow Cali, where we played a game called Fragmento, which is very similar sort of aesthetically, but it was a shooter. We had a lot of fun playing that, and whenever we were just thinking of what silly games we can make. Someone just said Fragmento was kind of fun, but what if we made dodgeball? So we took sort of the sort of gameplay inspiration of Fragmento, Rocket League sort of mutator system, and just sort of smashed them together with sort of the Tron-esque art style, and played around with it for a while, and we sort of came up with Rebound.
So you mentioned the kind of Tron-esque art style. Where did the art style come from? Where did that idea come from? Because you've got quite a lot of stylized characters.
We started off, I think in the original pitch, we were sort of going with a sort of futuristic neo-Japanese art style. So everything was sort of clear, washed out colors and sort of origami feel. But over the development, it sort of just changed from origami-looking characters to low poly Tron style. It also helps that I spent most of the development listening to the Tron soundtrack. So I was like, man, Tron's really cool. What if we just sort of made it kind of look like that? Because trying to sort of describe origami-looking style in a game is kind of hard. So it was just a couple of shader changes, make it a bit brighter, more colourful, and then that's sort of how we got to what we have now.
So you're a relatively small team currently. Has that impacted the development? Has that slowed things down or made any particular challenges with that?
We started off with about 8 or 9 people whenever we were at university. So being able to work with your friends is great. However, since we were at university, some people have to go get jobs, so they can't work full time. So some people had to leave, get other commitments out of the way. So couple of people have left, but the team that are still together working on it we're still fully committed to try and release it as soon as we can and get it with the best possible product we can release. Since we are still fairly new in the industry, this is sort of a good portfolio piece, and everyone we've met really likes it. Our lecturers are still pushing us to try and get it out there and release it in full.
So it's very fast-paced with kind of like almost couch kind of LAN style versus game. Was there a particular reason for that you wanted to kind of encourage that like kind of room-based competitiveness?
It was just we had a lot of fun playing a lot of local couch co-op games as like Fragmento, Rocket League, speedrunners. We really liked this idea, and whenever we had to come up with a pitch for it's a competition up in Dundee called Dare to be Digital, and we were trying to just sort of play the odds with, hey, they want a lot of kids coming through the event, so what if we made a game that sort of appeals to kids? Kids like playing a lot of local games, and they like playing with a lot of friends, so we can get a lot of people to come through the event and play a game. So it was really just sort of trying to play the odds of who's going to come into this event. It's going to be a lot of kids, they're going to want to play games with their friends. So we just sort of took that idea and rolled with it. Also, we really like the local competitive game as well.
So when you play, what is your favorite mutator to play with? Like, which game do you enjoy playing mode?
I'm a real big fan of Nitro Ball. That's the one where the ball, every time the ball hits a wall, it'll slowly start to increase in speed, which I can't remember what we thought of it, what we initially came up with the idea, but when we were playing around with it, it just looked really silly with testing it on a small map, and then after about 2 seconds, the ball is going infinitely faster than it's possible, bouncing off every wall. Nobody can survive very long with it, but it just looks really funny whenever new people are playing it and they don't expect it to happen, and then everyone's dead and all the walls are smashed, and it's just complete chaos. So I just like it from that because it's really funny to watch other people experience it.
So what can we expect from Rebound coming forward? What's planned for it going forward?
Currently, we've got the 15 to 20 mutators. We've got, I think, about just shy of about 15 maps as well. Local multiplayer up to 4 players. You can play with AI as well. 4-player online. And I think that's about it. We've got a couple of ideas all the content we want to release is in the game now. It's just a lot of polishing it and then trying to publish it and release it. We've got a couple of ideas of stuff we would like to add in that I don't want to sort of say in case, hey, why didn't you have this in your game at launch? But we've got a couple of ideas we want to throw in. So in the time it will take from, hey, we've released it on PC, we've got a console version coming up in a couple of months, we've got a couple of months to wait around for that release. Let's just play around with some of this extra content we haven't actually tried out yet. So
how much recommended retail price are you going to be aiming for when the game releases?
I think we're trying to go between the sort of £10 to £15 range, sort of the same price as what original Rocket League or Overcooked were released at. These other sort of competitive local multiplayer games.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I've been Scott Banks for Bego Games, and we will see you next time.